Module 1, Objective 3, be able to identify anatomical planes and define section. Know why they're important clinically. We use planes in sectional anatomy, and a section is a slice through a three-dimensional object used to visualize the internal organization of tissues. These are very important, and we use these in radiography, such as in techniques such as MRIs, PET scans, and CTs. A sectional plane is a single view along a two-dimensional flat surface. This is kind of hard to sort of understand, but if you were consider a loaf of bread, and we take that bread and we slice it into individual planes, if you were to remove one of these slices, you would have a sectional plane. So when you consider some of these imaging tests, such as MRIs and PET scans, that's exactly what they do to the body. They section it, and then you're able to pull out a single section, and somebody with knowledge can then read that section to identify abnormalities. So we can cut this loaf of bread in a number of different planes. A frontal plane is a vertical plane that divides the body into an anterior and a posterior portion. And a cut in this particular plane is called a frontal section. Sometimes it's called coronal section. If I advanced a couple slides, we can actually see that over here. So we have the frontal or coronal plane. So that's going to be a cut that divides the body into anterior and posterior halves. So this is a frontal section right here. A sagittal plane is a vertical plane that divides the body into left or right portions. A cut in this plane is called a sagittal section, and we can further subcategorize the sagittal sections. We can say a mid-sagittal section. This is one that the section is right down the midline of the body, or a parasagittal, which is one that is offset from the middle. And again, if we advance one, here we have the sagittal section. So we talked about that midline of the body, and if you were to cut that midline, you get a sagittal plane. And if you cut it right in the middle, it's called a mid-sagittal. Anything offset from that middle is called parasagittal, but that is sagittal. And sagittal is a word that is very frequently misspelled. I don't know why students want to put two G's and one T, but they do, and since spelling is part of your laboratory experience, please make note of that. The last plane that we're going to discuss today is the transverse plane. This is a plane that divides the body into superior and inferior portions. A cut in this plane is called a transverse section or cross section. And down here in green we have the transverse plane. So by cutting the body into superior and inferior portions, you get a transverse or a horizontal or cross section, as it may be. So these are different types of ways in which we can section the body.